Hey, friends. Thanks so much for joining me for today's conversation about how writing can offer more freedom in your pharmacy career, or if you happen to be a different type of healthcare provider, how writing can offer more freedom in your healthcare career. Um, it is common to have some anxiety around professional security or job security. And one of the nicest emotions that comes along with being a freelance health content writer and having honed that skill over time is that it allows me to take comfort in the fact that I don't have to rely on a specific role, a specific job, a specific organization, a specific employer to give me the professional security that I need, because I know that the skill of being able to write will always afford me the opportunity to be able to make money if I need to. And so it kind of offers a level of mental freedom and a lifting of a burden that I don't know I would have necessarily anticipated prior to becoming a health content writer and becoming more ingrained in the freelancing and consulting world. So I really think that writing is a skill that offers more freedom no matter what your profession is, but especially as a pharmacist or other type of healthcare provider, because there's always going to be a need to make sure that important health and medical information is being communicated to other audiences and other parties. There are a couple of ways that I want to point out that writing does offer that additional freedom. Um, Freedom and then opening you up to additional opportunities as well. So, the first one that I want to point out is that writing can open the doors for different types of roles. Being able to write, whether that is technical writing, scientific writing, writing for lay or consumer audiences, variety of writing, right? We are speaking on a more broad level here. But if you have the ability to write, then that qualifies you for a wider variety of roles. In organizations such as the ones that you already work for. So I'll use an example of one of the students who's come through my program, Health Professionals to Health Writers, before, was working in a particular organization. And after going through the program, learning the ins and outs of freelance health content writing, getting clients and working with those clients, not only was she able to take advantage of those freelancing opportunities, but the fact that she now had that skill of writing and demonstrated work in writing also qualified her for a writing specific full-time role with her same organization. So having that skill of writing helped open her up to different types of roles, and is really a great example of what I'm talking about here. If you listen to last night's live video, you would have heard me talk about focusing more on skills development versus degrees and certifications, and really thinking about how you can access, gain, hone different skills without necessarily having to go the additional degree or additional certification route. And this is an example of exactly what I'm talking about, using the skill of writing as the specific example here. So, being able to write opens you up to different types of roles. Being able to write also opens you up to the opportunity to support different types of organizations. So, you might be able to work for organizations that don't necessarily have a need for clinical pharmacists or clinical staff, clinicians, but they could benefit from medical or health experts who have the ability to write, right? So they might not be an organization that really needs like clinical or clinical staff, but they might find it helpful to have writers who have a healthcare background or clinical background. So I'm thinking about organizations like public health organizations, whether that's on a federal level, state level, local level, policy organizations, managed care organizations, communications organizations, right? There are a lot of different types of organizations that might not just hire a pharmacist outright, but they might be willing to hire a writer who has a pharmacy background or a healthcare background or some type of clinical background. So writing can help open you up to opportunities to work for different types of organizations than the ones that you might be more used to. And lastly, writing opens you up to different sources of income. So, in a lot of cases, unless of course you work for an employer where, this is not allowed or there's a conflict of interest there. If you can write, then that also gives you the opportunity to freelance on the side. Now, on my account, if you follow me for a while, you know that I talk about freelance health content writing. More broadly, I also speak to different types of medical and health writing. But honestly, you can write about anything. Like, just because you are a pharmacist or a healthcare provider doesn't mean that if you want to be a freelance writer, you have to write about medical or health topics. You can go out, have fun, ball out with whatever other interests you have. But for me specifically, I talk about health content writing because my goal is to help more health professionals become health content writers. So for the purposes of this conversation, I'm talking about creating different sources of income through freelance health content writing. And when you have that skill, then you're able to open yourself up to different sources of income because you can have independent contracts, you can have freelancing relationships in addition to whatever full-time or part-time work you want to do as a pharmacist or clinician in your traditional environment. So those are just three specific examples of the ways that writing can offer you more freedom within your pharmacy career. And again, I will reiterate that one of the absolute best things that has come from freelance health content writing for me is the mental freedom of knowing that I always have a way to make money if I need it. And so I feel much less dependent on external and outside sources because I know that this skill is transferable, works in a lot of different ways, and that there are a lot of opportunities associated with it. So I have a playlist on the nine different types of medical and health writing that exist, because I know for some of you, this might be your first time hearing about health content writing. And the truth is that when we talk about medical writing, that's really an umbrella term. And health content writing is a specific type of health writing that falls underneath that umbrella. But there are a lot of different other types of medical and health writing under that umbrella as well. And so the playlist link that I will drop, that playlist goes into those different types of medical and health writing so that you can see if that is something, if any of those 9 types of medical and health writing are options that you might be interested in as well. And if health content writing happens to be the type that you are interested in, then you can always feel free to drop right in the comments so you can learn more about the Health Professionals Health Writers program, which is available to US-based pharmacists and healthcare providers. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll speak to you all next time.